goes today, I am going to be trying to build Matt a cage. I just realized that my regular rolling stool is quite squeaky, so that may not be the most prime for this filming, but not my normal stool. Anyway, we're gonna try to knock out Matt's class 1 cage. I got mine done already, and it's made out of titanium. However, if Matt is going to be able to finish his off with like the base plate and things like that, his has to be steel. So we're not gonna be doing his out of the titanium. This one will be mine will be that way. And his, we're gonna do out of regular DOM steel. So with the jigs that I've got designed and ready, I think that this could go fairly quickly. I may not be able to do a lot of reading of your comments and things like that, but I figured if I throw something, I try and make a little bit of content out of having to do Matt's work. So, so that's gonna be the plan. Again, this is just regular 3/16 DOM steel, and I get this from stockcarsteel.com. So that is the basis. What was, GC Coop, thank you. I did see that pop up. If I missed super chats, I'm super sorry, but I am gonna try and build this, but just let you guys see what's going on. This ring roller here, or tube roller, I was able to borrow it from my buddy Ben, Scale Crawler Fab Shop, and it is so nice. So, oh, no, wrong size. We're going to take our 8mm top, loosen this thing up, and we're going to feed my tubing through here. I can imagine that this video may be a bit of a pain for headphone users. I apologize. It's just a little bit different type of content in general. So, okay, the tubing is in there, and we're going to use my Milwaukee. It's a 10mm socket, which there's a drive on this side that's got a 10mm. So basically, take that, tighten it down a little bit, run it the other way. That might be a little too much. And we'll check the radius with these 3D printed guides that I made that have the tube profile in there. And, oh man, we're a little steep. Man, I can't believe how much easier this rolled. There we go. Pretty good shape there. A little steep. So I can massage those in, but so this is going to be the tube for, so you can see out at this end where it was a little steeper before I backed it off. You see how that radius doesn't match? Here, where it's been flattened, you can see how it matches. A little steeper out here at this edge. So we can get that flattened where needed, piece by piece, but that's our main hoop. This is actually our windshield top bar. So it's this one here, and this one here. It's like a 250mm radius. So roughly what that is. Well, like I said, it's a little tighter, but. So now we need to roll another one for our main hoop, I called it, the major radius. Just scuffing up some surface rust that was on these. So evidently we need to be quite a bit more ginger with it because this radius is a little flatter. It's about 200 millimeter. So barely anything on that. Give it a quarter turn. Another quarter turn. I'm just going to ease into this one. Check it. Long way to go. Too far. Well, rolled it too far, not the actual radius. So as I hold it there, you can see not quite enough. Almost there, another quarter turn. I think we'll be set. Almost. Little tiny bit of gap there. Eighth, quarter. Bet that does it. Yep, perfect. So this should do basically everything we need. As you can see here, it pretty much matches my radius on my cage there. That should get both pieces out of that one and all the pieces out of the first one. So some more straights, but we're done with the roller for now, or probably for the rest of the cage. So now we can concentrate on getting a couple of the bent pieces done. And I think there's one thing I have to, actually no, I think I just used this as my template before. So we'll reposition so that you can see my bender that will drop in the, well, it's already in the vise. Ah, look at me go. So again, oh, actually, I had to use a different bender. I forgot. When I was doing my cage, I used solid titanium, so I can use this bender. But since Matt's is tube, I need to use this bender. This is from Oaken Shield Productions on Facebook. Okay. So there we go. This bender, we're gonna go other side. I just need to make sure I've got enough out. That should be plenty, really. I hit my light. Put a little bend on it, and then we'll check it. So after doing my bend, I can use my jigs and check in these bends, basically. Look at that one. That basically nailed the first time. It worked out really well. So with knowing that, I can hold it in the jig approximately where it needs to go. And grab a Sharpie. I know that the intersection point's here, so I'm going to cut a little bit long. I'm going to buzz that off here in the bandsaw quickly. Noise warning. This thing's super loud. Turn your headphones down. I told you. We gotta do 2 of those. Check our length. A little long is fine. Just trying to watch one side while I do the other. A little bit more. I'll just check against my jig. We're live? Yes, we are, Moose Jaw. Happen to see, ooh, that one's actually steeper. How did I mess that up? Nice thing about DOM is it's so easy to just correct by hand. I gotta hurry and build this cage because I got a dinner tonight with Moose Jaw and Mrs. Moose Jaw that I can't be late for. So, mark our cut line, get that cut again. Noise warning. Okay, so those are our A-pillars on both sides. So that's those. Those will drop in the jig about like so. And then you can see about the intersection. Actually, I think I cut, that's the other side, but I have it so it's long. But both of those, set those aside. Now we've got to bend our B pillars. So these here, and there's 2 per side, so I got to make 4 of these total. These are a shallower bend. About that long. Calibrated eyeball on this. A little over. Straighten it by hand is all. Okay. That's about right. Oh, we gotta cut this guy. Cut this off. Again, I know my intersection points, so just going a little long. Bandsaw. Three more. Okay. This part is the slightly tedious section is all. Not too bad. Pretty close. Oh, because I was actually using the one that I already did. That I already cut. Okay. Bandsaw. All right. So rather than doing the other side too, let's get into a little bit of the finishing stuff, and then that'll keep it a little bit more interesting. So we're going to grab our main radius hoop, which was the one that we already rolled. Check it against our template to make sure we grab the right one. We did. So when you ring roll these, you end up with a section that's not rolled because it's just the distance between the pulleys. So that very first 1.5 inches or so, we're not going to use. So we're going to have to cut that off. I'm going to mark where I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to fit this into my jig. And put that cut point a little long, my intersection, and mark where I'm going to cut the tail off. And that should allow me then to check that. Yeah, I have plenty for the other portion too. It actually works out almost perfect each time. So 3 cuts. Ears. Okay, so set that other tube down over there. This we're going to drop in here. Now, I'm going to cheat a little bit since I did this last time and I kind of remember how it went. Angle you down, but so tube in the jig. Now you can see I drilled some holes in my jig here, and what that allowed me to do is I'm just going to set my tube in there where it needs to be, and we're going to zip tie it in place. Having trouble with zip ties? Okay, one down. Now this tube really never has to leave this jig until the whole cage is done. I weld it right in here. Yeah, it melts this jig a little bit. I welded the titanium in here already though. It wasn't a problem. So last time I didn't do both at the same time because I didn't have both sides of the jig 3D printed in time. But I guess I do this time, so I might as well just get them in there. So make sure we're in the right spot. There we go. Cut off our excess. Now, we're going to have to miter the front side of this, but I can do that in the jig. It's actually not that bad. So let's look at fitting our A pillars first. We bent these already, obviously. Oh wait, that was a B pillar. A pillars are over here, the ones that we did first. So holding those in position, and you can see how they overlap. So that's what I have to cut. So I'm going to mark where that's at. And I feel like I can get that pretty close. So safety glasses. One side. Okay. So this point, got it close, other side of my bench. Over there. So I just set the jig up here. I'm not using the drill press, I'm just putting it close so I can start doing the grinding to exact fit. A little flatter. Looking good. Alright. The grinder for the final side of things makes it pretty easy. But that there. Got a burr on this side, I just need to get cleaned off. Zip tie that tube in place as well. So now, since that's all jigged up, you can see that it matches up just right. So there's a bevel kind of deburred on it, but other than that, it's just solid in there. So that will make it easy to weld up. Make sure everything's pushed into place and we're good. I'm gonna get these two, the B-pillar tubes, ready as well, because then I can just weld all of those tubes at once. So, getting a quick estimate on length. Front one. Rear. Oh, if you're a fab guy, this is, what is this called? This is the My Markers marker lock. Anyway, it holds your Sharpies and it's got a magnet on the bottom, so it goes on the table with a magnet. It holds the caps in, so you just, the one time, so you just pull your Sharpies out and put them back in. You don't lose your cap. You only need one hand to get the cap off. You got like silvers and two blacks. I use the blacks more often, so if one dies, I don't want to have to stop. But you can get it on Amazon. It's super cheap and one of my favorites. Cut this to length. Okay, that's the back one, this is the front one. Now, the next fun tool. My tube notcher. AKA Nacho Libre. So this is my Makita trim router. Makita trim router in a mount that I designed up that holds a rotary table. and a guide for where the tube goes. So I can dial in the exact angle that I need, which I know from CAD. I already did one cage, so I know that I got to go 4.5 degrees. So there's a little indicator there. And just turn this to a little under 5. Now, make sure that I got the right end. Make sure we notch it. Okay. It's just, the other thing that I like to do is get it lined up and measure the plane that I need to notch it in. Got that marked. Now, try and do this so you can see it, but turn this on. And that just gives me that perfect coped end. Super overcomplicated for just because, but now this should, yeah, look at that. So take it, you drop it in the jig, line it up, and it fits perfectly on that tube, and it fits perfectly in my jig. So now we've got the last one to do, which is the back one. Get it put in place, cut to length. Wait, did I already cut this one to length? No. I cut it long. One more time, check it, and mark our notch plane. And then into the notcher. Okay. So that dropped in there. Make sure, yep. This one in here, yes. Now, this was the only one that was a bit of a pain to get held in with zip ties because of the staggered nature. It only wanted to grab one of the two. So, grabbed one. I took a little piece of this, it's like a sanding board, a spongy sanding board. Cut a section off. Put it over top of the second tube. And then when I zip tie it in there, that wedges against the tube and gets it held in place. So there you go. This now we got all of those joints set up and ready to weld. I could do the other side at this point as well, but for this it's, you know, I might as well just buzz one side, try and keep the video slightly more entertaining. But I need to adjust my welder a little bit, grab some filler rod. I can show you kind of what my settings will be. This is on my cell phone today, obviously, so. Anyway, this is my welder, AHP 203XI TIG. Turn our argon on. Okay, on there. Turn the machine on. Oh, let's plug it in. That would help. What is this one? I just run my welder on 110, so I'm in a regular garage in California. I had this set up for titanium, so a lot of my settings were much different. My pre-flow gas was set at 5 seconds. I don't need that. I'm just turning it down to a half a second. Post-flow is at 10. I don't need that. I'm going to turn it down to 3 seconds. And then start amperage, we'll turn down to 5. 60 amps is way too much. We're going down to 35 since this is DOM tubing. This is my TIG torch. It's a Nova Flex head, 332nd tungsten, Furic BBW cup, the gas lens. So that's what we're running there. Yeah. So let's see. You going to back purchase tubing? Nope, because this is an RC car. I'll put on my welding jacket. For filler material, I'm using silicon bronze. So we're technically not TIG welding, we're TIG brazing. Okay. So we've got, get our jig set up here on the table. Everything's jigged in place. Make sure it's all fitting. That one fell down just a hair. We're gonna clip our jig in place. Get a couple of these joints TIG brazed and move on to the next. I do have a little cup of water here with a rag in it. And that's just because I'm just brazing right in the 3D printed jig. So braze it and then I'll cool it so it doesn't melt terribly. Not that it melts much or it's that bad in general, but it's just easier. I'm gonna cut this down real quick. Just a shorter piece of filler is all. I'm just butting up the tube to my clamp there. I don't want to clamp onto it too hard right now just because it's all pretty loose at this point. I'm not in my regular stool for welding, so I'm at a little bit of an awkward angle, but actually you have to listen to the squeak for a minute. Keep them cool. We're not flowing all the way around these joints while it's in the jig. We'll do that after the fact. Okay. just cooling to one side so I don't get it all in the joint for the next one. Close enough. Go. Put it in, put it in. And I'm pretty much able to do that without melting any of the jig. You can usually smell when that PLA gets hot and starts to melt, but no problems this time. So, you got that side all brazed up. Now we can do the other A pillar, the two B pillars, and our crosses. So go back to that for a second. I'm gonna shut off the welder so that you don't have to listen to that buzz. Welding hood off and safety glasses back on. So we've got the A pillar at least already bent. We just have to cut to length. So I know I can't see your guys' comments. I'm just trying to bang this thing out. So Matt, you know, doesn't have to worry about making his own cage. I cut that way too long. Where did that mark come from? That wasn't even close. It's like I grabbed the wrong tube. Jeez. Missed that by a mile. There we go. Now we're in good shape. Okay, move that radius forward just a little. Yeah, we're in good shape. Good stuff. A little more here. Just matching the angles of these two tubes, so we got a nice coped joint. Or I guess technically mitered joint. Okay. So we can zip tie that in. Let's see. Come on. There we go. Good shape. That one mitered more quickly. I did it a quicker way at least, since this is Matt's. There we go. Good shape. We didn't bend our B pillars yet though. So where is that straight piece of tubing I was using? Oh, it's the one attached to there. Back to the bender. I'll put it this way, that's fine. Remember how much I was bending? Okay. A little overbent. Still a little over. Forget how slight that this tube is. There we go. That'll do it. Rather than going to the bandsaw, I'm just cutting these by hand. There. Check. Again, I went a little heavy. Can't help it. I tell you, I'm so used to bending that titanium that this stuff just is so much easier to bend. I gotta put some force behind the titanium to bend it. There we go. All right, now we'll cut this to length. So, three sticks of DOM in so far. That's our remainder off of the straight tube. And that's the only straight piece we're done with all the other straight pieces. Everything else is radiused. So, cut these to length so we can cope them. How far are we into this? 43 minutes so far. This has almost been a exercise in how fast can I get this built. Since it's for matte. So that is about perfect. Mark our notch plane. So that's our front tube. Put an F on it so I don't mistake it. Okay. Mark our cutoff. I think Matt just texted me some photos. He's got our engine almost done. Oh, it's up. Weird. The comments scroll past a little faster than I'm able to read them, even when I could see people pop up. I saw Pablo popped in. A rear one in. Notch plane. Okay, so those are done. Back to notch up. Too much angle, too much angle. Nacho Libre. Notched 2. Come on. I got a little burr on that. Won't go through my guide. Front. This is the rear. Okay. Zip tie. One zip tie in, second one, again, same thing, using a piece of that sanding sponge as a bumper to help give it some height. Okay. Push them up so all the gaps are good. All right, gotta turn the welder back on. Really need to put that away. Just put it up there. I just did both of those at the same time. Steel's so much easier to work with versus the titanium. It's just makes this super easy. Again, I'm just cooling it after the fact since it is in a 3D printed jig, and you know, not, I mean, this is the last cage I'll have to build with these jigs. I can always just 3D print more, but you know, I guess why not still keep them? I don't want to smell melting PLA anyway. Alrighty. Just cleaning off the surfaces where the other tubes are going to have to land. Since we did, you know, post-cool it with water and gets it all nasty and contaminated, just because. So. With the titanium, it's much more picky. With steel, you know, steel for an RC cage, it really doesn't matter. If you've never built a cage, steel is pretty easy to work with. It's very forgiving. So, now we've got both sides tacked up. We're 51 minutes in. Not bad for a speed running a cage build. And a bit cheaper, yeah. Although the DOM steel tubing is a little expensive. DOM solid rod, I mean, it's so hard to screw up solid rod. And if you want to build something easy, use solid rod and just can fly through it. But now we got to do our radius tubes. Again, we got to cut off that first 1.5 inches or so because it's not rolled like the rest of it. The weight difference between the two, DOM tubing, steel tubing, since it's hollow, it is about 30% heavier than solid titanium. The titanium is solid rod, so there's more of it there, but being that titanium is lighter, it's still about 30% lighter than the steel. So that there, to that there. Right. So that's our first radius, and it's going to drop right in there. It's forcing it apart a little bit right now because we haven't put our notches on there. Oh, I wasn't wearing my safety glasses that time. My bad. I try and be pretty good about that. So I know that I need to adjust my notcher to 7. Not much adjustment needed, but what I do need to do is mark my notch plane. Now technically these tubes come in, so you would want to you know, go at 2 different angles, but it works out just fine. Even with the solid, it worked out just fine. Oh, little burr. We got our coked ends on both sides. One thing I didn't do is I didn't have my zip tie holes on those before. We haven't hit an hour yet. All right. Making sure our tubes are landing in the right spots. Okay. So I'm gonna hit that side first, and then actually I'm gonna cheat slightly here. That tube is wanting to land like a 1/16 of an inch low on one side. It's probably just a slight difference in how I have it rolled versus what it should be if I was being perfect. But we're gonna put some slight tension on the A-pillars. And there you go, and it's perfect. Just barely needed a little bit of tension to hold it together. Got a little breeze ripped through there, and I got a little dirty on that one. Didn't like that. Blew some of my shielding gas around. But you're still in good shape. Again, we're just tacking this stuff together for the most part now. I'll fully weld it outside of the chassis. So next rolled tube, we'll get dropped into position. Goes B pillar to B pillar. So line that up and mark our length. Oh. Safety glasses. Held in place. These radius tubes don't like to fit in the notcher as well. Perfect. That one worked out even better. That one I did already have a hole in. Go. Actually, I want to adjust that one ever so slightly. I cut both of those zip ties off. Need that to be a little flatter. Once I had it zip tied down, I could see that I was a little, there we go. That's better. Trying to rush, and I feel like the live video made this more of a challenge, but I'm getting it done faster to try and no time to dilly. Okay. Need to give my tungsten a little sharpening. Other direction. Okay. So, those are in. Now we've got to do our center radius. That's the one that goes right here. That is the same radius that we have been using. Got a couple of hot tubes I'm avoiding at the moment. Safety glasses. Just knocking the burrs off. I keep talking about that notch plane. Since the other tube's going, this way here, where it lands, I need to make sure that that's the way that I'm cutting it. Otherwise, you could just literally put that tube in at any angle and your notch would not line up. It's not as important when you're not using a radius, but still important. Come on. Like I said, these radius do not love going in this thing. There we go. It took me approximately 5 times as long to do my cage as it is Matt's. One, because titanium's a little harder to work with. You gotta be a lot more careful about cleaning, but also I hadn't done it yet, so I was learning some of the, there we go. How's it looking? Looking good. See that there? See how it's all coming, starting to look like something? We got this one and then 2 more bars and that's it. Had my finger a little close on that one. Smell a little hot PLA. Okay. Now, 2 more tubes, and that's it. These are more cosmetic, a little bit more done to fit, but we go diagonal with these. So these go, which way did I do mine? Front corner, okay, from here back. Couldn't remember if I went this way or this way. Should do Matt's the opposite, just because. I mean, technically, it would almost be a more appropriate coat. I mean, triangulation-wise. Should I do his backwards? Yeah, we're gonna do Matt's backwards. Not wrong, just unique, and actually probably more appropriate for structural design. And since his is out of steel, not titanium, maybe that matters a little more. Safety glasses. All right, so now with that there, I'm gonna turn this to 47. 47. Oh no. I used the end that didn't have the full bend. Is that what I did? I think I did. I grabbed the piece of the cutoff that didn't have the full roll to it, so I just put it in the tube bender and did a couple of little looking better. There we go. Now we're okay. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's not gonna look right. With those steep ones, you can see a little bit more of the benefit of having that notcher. No, I remember why I did it the way that I did it, is I've got these double B pillars, and I went from that second point to the center to make it look right. Okay. The good news is that just means the tube needs to be a little shorter, not longer. So I'm doing Matt's the same way I did mine. I almost made it change just because of live. Double check. Both sides are the same. Close, but not the same. Almost. I might have. Okay. We're looking okay now. I was gonna maybe redo this tube, but I don't need to. looking okay. When they're not like a designed tube and all that, so much more difficult. I really like when I can have it in a jig. Shoot, thought that would hold it. One more of these and then we'll be done. Pull it out of the jig and we'll compare the two. Good old clothespins. Use whatever you got it. Okay. Good there. One more to go. Let's do this. I like to cut with gloves on, just in case they get caught. Okay, so now this one goes that way. I gotta coat this upside down. Cut some more off. Rather than cutting and recoping, I just, dang, I didn't use my safety glasses that time. I have been really good about that. Every once in a while you forget. Still a little long. I think I can get away with. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. All right, guys. Whoop. Don't drop my... I did drop my filler. So, still gonna have a hot tube or two in there, but let's cut this thing out. All the zip ties. Come on. It's hard to get to. So, like I said, I had a couple. But Matt's cage and mine, they should be as close as makes no difference, identical. So, you know, the length on the bottom of the tubes is excess. We'll figure that out once we get the base plates in. But other than some minor differences, at this point it would be hard to tell which is titanium and which is steel if you weren't really looking close at the coloring of the welds and things like that. But there you go, Matt got a cage. So now I still got to do, you know, final welding of things like that. So I'll go in there and weld those up, which I guess I could just do quickly. Might as well while I'm here. Just clamp. Well, yeah. Clamp an area. Adjust my hood a little bit. Center dome. Some awkward angles, we'll just, there we go. when a wind comes through, you can tell, like, oh. You can just see the contamination blow in. I'm gonna clean that one up and redo it. Okay, and that's it. I'm gonna clean that one up and add some more, but yeah, that's about it, I think. The rest of it, Matt can deal with. Maybe. Just a couple little spots I want to add some on. Anyway, I'll do that later. That's it. 90 minutes. Matt got a cage. That's all for this. Hopefully that went well. But anyway, Matt's cage. Ship it in the jig. It's my jig. Anyway, thanks guys. Good stuff. What blade are you using on the M12 cutoff tool? I don't know, Milwaukee's at this point, I think I still have. I'm sorry. Oh, I just saw all fours RC. Thank you. I know I missed super chats. I'm super sorry. I just was head down working. I appreciate anyone who donated. Much appreciated. It was a good time. I was glad I got this knocked out. So anyway, back to the rest of the day. I got more work to do. See you guys. If I could figure out how to end. Bye.